how to talk with talk. That's the main thing, isn't it, today? The main thing. How to talk without losing traction, without losing awareness on the information you're gathering, right? Because you can start off something very well. And when you keep going, you got to keep that level of up, down, up, down, up, down. Because if it constantly is going up till how high? There's a certain point in which once it passes, you lose interest, you lose awareness on what you're watching, and you just scroll on to the next video or next piece of content, isn't it? So how do we get all hands and feet on the lap, on the table, and listening and engaging? How? It all starts off with the topic you picked. All right? It could be fishing, it could be painting, it could be driving, it could be bowling. But how you start it matters most of all. So, for example, I'm a BMW guy. All right? Let me tell you how I would start something with talk. It was World War II. Everyone was at war. The Germans, the Nazis, the Germans, the French, everyone. There's more that I can't name right now, but the point is everyone was fighting, everyone was at war. BMW built planes, after that they developed to cars, and then they moved on to race cars, and then they moved on to what they are now. So what I just said fits. But you didn't get pulled in, didn't you? No, you didn't. You glanced across the information like I delivered it, and you probably want to wait for the next video, yes. But if I start out with, for this, for example, in 1988, we were still doing everything at home manually. Not many washing machines around at the time. You had to go to the TV and change the channel. You had to, in some parts, you had to go out of the house to use the toilet. But in 1997, they had real automatic blinds. They had soft and close door entry. They had 326 horsepower from a 3.2 liter inline six. That's more horsepower than anyone can imagine at the time. When yet at home, we were still doing calculations by our hands, and BMW was already creating dual fuel rails, dual throttle bodies, individual throttle bodies for all 6 cylinders. Why? So we can have a bit of the racing heritage. We can have a little bit of that power surge coursing through our veins, because end of the day, we always possessed by what we create. We're always driven by what we make. Why? That's another conversation for much longer day, isn't it? But yes, you get it so far. You have to bring in some history. You have to bring in some feel, some emotion to the table, because without it, I might as well be Will Smith in iRobot, isn't it? If I hooked you with that line, you're wondering, how did I do it? Isn't it? To be brutally honest, it just comes to me, all right? But it doesn't come to everyone else that's watching quite easily, okay? And it's not fair. It's definitely not fair. I feel if I have this gift, I should be able to share it, and for some of you to comprehend what I'm saying. And the some of you that comprehend will help the rest comprehend. I'm hoping, okay? I'm hoping. So, how do I do that? When I think of BMW, I don't think of the iX7 or whatever bullshit name they're calling their cars nowadays. I don't think of all that. The part that makes you think, no matter how old you get in life, is good times, isn't it? Good times with the family members, good times with your relatives, good times with your grandparents. Like, those good times sometimes are what get you through the hard times in life. So stay with me. Those good times that I had of, doing manual labor and, doing this mechanically and that mechanically at home, changing the channel at home. So why? Because my dad always used to tell me, hey, you're the oldest, right? You get up, get your ass up, go and change the channel and come back. My sister was too small at that time. She could eat a lot, but she couldn't walk. So I had to go and change the channel. I had to do this, I had to do that. So it's something I remember closely. So I understood that. I could resonate with that. All I did was bring that up to you guys, right? And just try as much as I can to make you guys see it. You guys see why it's important to have emotion, why it's important to have the sense of belonging when you're talking. Because remember, all these things that come about are meant to be spoken about, are they meant to be talked about. Like when you cook something, you want to tell the world, isn't it? But you want the world to feel exactly how you felt finishing off that dish. Basing it, baking it. You want your audience to feel that, isn't it? Right? So go to a younger time, go to a smaller time, go to a time where anyone can scoop up what you're feeling. Relate exactly that to what you want to deliver to the ladies and gentlemen. And I just might think, you might have a chance, you might have a shot that actually works. And the fact that it could bring an unintentional smile, organically speaking, to oneself, because you smile when you think about the past, you think about what was and the good times. So what I remember was my dad getting into a 5 series, a 3 series, the screen goes down on its own. In the 90s, you already had cruise control, you already had a boot lid that shut on its own when we still had to close doors on our own. We still had to do so many things on our own. And the Germans are just like, nein, we'll have the boot closed automatically. How about the door? Yeah, the door too. How about the bonnet? Nein, not the bonnet. The bonnet will leave for our service industry people to open and close it. There you go. Just feel it. Just feel it. The longer you do it, the more you stick to the actual structure of it, the more you're going to feel more feedback. Can be good, can be bad, but remember, any publicity is good publicity.